Since the dawn of modernity, man has sought refuge, not in fortresses of stone, but in the fortresses of the mind. Fleeing the present, with its anxieties and uncertainties, for the golden gardens of an idealized past. But what if I told you that this refuge, this escape into nostalgia, is a trap? What if the desire to relive a golden age was, in fact, a form of imprisonment, a subtle tyranny over our perception of reality? The philosopher and sociologist Zygmunt Bauman, in his work Retrotopia, warned us, we live in a time when the future, once a promise, has become a threat. And facing this uncertainty, we turn our gaze backward. He understood that nostalgia is not just a sweet memory. It is often an escape from the complexity of the now, a selective reconstruction of memory. It is a filtered version of history, where the sharp edges are softened, the pains forgotten, and reality is replaced by a convenient fairy tale. The universal problem we face today is the inability to face the truth of the present, preferring to anesthetize ourselves with what could have been or was better. Throughout this video, we will not just celebrate or criticize a series. We will dive deep into the mind behind the Stranger Things phenomenon, and through it, unravel the mechanics of nostalgia. We will explore how the series addicted us by selling us back a decade that, in its essence, never existed as we remember it. Prepare yourself, for the knowledge you are about to receive is transformative. It will force you to question not only what you watch, but why you watch, and more importantly, what you are running from. To understand the tyranny of nostalgia, we must first deconstruct how this illusion is carefully built. The first law is, memory is a selective editor. Nostalgia is its distorted masterpiece. We do not remember the past as it was. We remember how it made us feel. Psychologically, our mind has a defense mechanism against pain. We tend to suppress or minimize negative events and amplify the positive ones. Nostalgia exploits this vulnerability. It offers us a sanitized version of the past, devoid of its complexities and suffering. The 80s, the backdrop for Stranger Things, were a decade of profound anxiety. The Cold War at its peak, latent nuclear fear, the AIDS crisis sweeping populations, racial tensions, and the rise of neoliberalism deepening inequalities. A decade of social and political darkness. But the series sells us an innocent adventure where the greatest fears are supernatural monsters, not brutal reality. Consider the success of Star Wars: A New Hope in 1977. Released after the Vietnam War and political scandals in the US, the film offered an escape to a distant galaxy with clear heroes and obvious villains. It did not reflect the reality of the time, but it offered such a radical contrast that the audience dove headfirst into this fantasy. Innocence and simplicity were the promise. Today, the internet and social media are the engines of this filtering. Photo filters that erase imperfections, feeds that show only the best moments. We are constantly editing our own reality, and cultural consumption, like Stranger Things, is an extension of this trend. It shows us a perfect feed of an entire decade. The arsenal, practical application. Question: it was better back then. When you feel this phrase in your mind, pause and reflect. Better for whom? In what aspects? What problems were being ignored? Seek plural sources. Do not settle for a single narrative of the past. Read histories from different perspectives to unmask the filtered narrative. The second law is, in turbulent times, we yearn for what we believe was our original innocence. Stranger Things sells the fantasy of a childhood uncontaminated by the adult world. Jungian psychology speaks of the divine child archetype, the part of us that longs for purity, curiosity, and the simplicity of a time before responsibilities and disillusionment. In a complex and morally ambiguous present, the series transports us to a universe where the choices are clear: good versus evil, friendship versus danger. There are no deep ethical dilemmas in the protagonists. There is a clear quest for truth and the protection of friends. It is a lost Eden that, for most, never existed. Think of the legend of the Garden of Eden. A utopia of purity and simplicity, lost due to disobedience. Humanity has yearned for this lost paradise ever since. Stranger Things offers us a suburban Eden, where the biggest problems are solved with a bicycle and a group of friends. This seduction is visible in the popularity of retro games, vintage toys, and the idealization of the simple life as a contrast to modern complexity. Pop culture has become a balm for the wounds of the adult soul, offering us a safe regression. The arsenal, practical application. Recognize the regression. If you feel constantly drawn to content that takes you back to childhood, ask yourself, what am I avoiding in my present? Create new innocence. Instead of just revisiting the past, create moments of innocence in the now. A new hobby without pressure, a walk in nature, genuine playtime. The third law is, in an uncertain world, the familiar past offers the illusion of control. Nostalgia is addictive because it is predictable. The psychology of stress shows us that uncertainty is one of the biggest triggers for anxiety. The future is unknown. The present is chaotic. The past, however, has already happened. Its narrative is already written. Stranger Things doesn't just evoke the 80s. It evokes the format of 80s stories. The group of kids solving mysteries, Goonies, the supernatural threat, Spielberg, the sense of community, E.T. This gives us a feeling of familiarity and therefore of safety. It's a time-tested narrative formula, but applied in a setting that convinces us it's new. Back to the Future, 1985, is a perfect example of nostalgic predictability before it was nostalgia. It took known archetypes, the misfit teen, the mad scientist, and placed them in a fantastic scenario, but with a familiar narrative structure. The film was innovative, but it felt comfortable. This is the reason why remakes, reboots, and endless sequels dominate film and television. It's why Stranger Things invests so heavily in musical, fashion, and object references from the era. Each reference is a small, familiar comfort for the viewer, a dopamine hit of predictability. The arsenal, practical application. Consciously seek the new. Challenge yourself to consume new and unpredictable content. Read a book by an unknown author. Watch a film from a genre you normally avoid. Embrace uncertainty. Understand that real life is unpredictable. Instead of fighting it, learn to ride the waves of change, developing resilience instead of seeking artificial refuges. Thus far, we have established the pillars of nostalgic seduction. You have learned how memory filters pain, how we yearn for lost innocence, and how the predictability of the past offers us a false sense of control. We understand that the 1980s of Stranger Things is more of a construction than a representation, a paradise manufactured for an anxious mind. But this is merely the defense. Now we enter the territory of the offense. The following laws are not for the faint of heart. They teach how this tyranny of nostalgia actively shapes our perception of the future, keeping us trapped in a cycle of longing and dissatisfaction. The fourth law is, by living in an idealized past, we dilute the urgency and importance of the present. Excessive nostalgia makes us passive in the face of current challenges. When we invest so much emotional time and energy in a past that never existed, we subtract that energy from the now. Philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre remind us of our radical responsibility for the present. We are condemned to be free, to make choices and to shape our future. But nostalgia offers an escape from this responsibility. Stranger Things is so effective because, while we delight in Hawkins, we are, perhaps unconsciously, ignoring the demogorgons and Vecnas of our own world. Climate crises, social inequalities, political polarization. Fiction becomes more real than reality. After World War I, many European countries entered a period of intense nostalgia, seeking to revive the good old days before the war. This dilution of present reality, combined with an escape into past ideals, contributed to the blindness to the new threats that would lead to World War II. This tactic is visible in the rise of comfort content, series and films that revisit familiar themes and aesthetics. Instead of productions that challenge us to think about the future or confront the present, we are flooded with narratives that take us back to a simpler time. The arsenal, practical application. Anchor yourself in the now. Practice mindfulness and meditation to bring your attention to the present moment. Feel your body, the air, your surroundings. Engage actively. Choose a cause or a problem in your community and dedicate time to it. Transform the energy of escape into the energy of action. The fifth law. Excessive reverence for the idealized past suffocates creativity and innovation for the future. If the best has already happened, why create anything new? The mind, trapped in the nostalgia loop, becomes conservative. It resists the new, the unknown. The incessant search for the next Stranger Things or the new Star Wars prevents genuinely original and challenging narratives from emerging. We are in a cultural time loop. The philosophy of art, for example, has always questioned repetition. True art seeks to break paradigms, not reaffirm them. When culture becomes a museum of what was, the capacity to dream of what could be diminishes. Think of the current film industry. The number of remakes, reboots, spin-offs, and prequels is alarming. Originality is rare. In contrast, the success of the first Star Wars came not from being nostalgic, but from being new, from creating a new mythology. Back to the Future was nostalgic in its theme, but innovative in its execution. The tyranny of nostalgia is when imitation replaces creation. The popularity of Stranger Things has generated a wave of productions trying to replicate its formula. Kids on bikes, supernatural mysteries, 80s aesthetics. This is not innovation, it is replication. The culture refuses to grow old. The arsenal, practical application. Cultivate radical curiosity. Seek out ideas, books, music, and films that challenge your expectations and point toward the future, not the past. Create without expectations. Start a creative project without the pressure of being like something that already exists. Allow yourself to fail and to experiment. The final law, the most dangerous. Constant nostalgia robs us of the ability to imagine an authentic future. We become stuck in a retrotopia, a future built on the foundations of an idealized past. Bauman warns us that this retrotopia is not a paradise, it is a purgatory. We cannot move forward if our eyes are always looking back. The future is not a mere extension of the past. It is a horizon of possibilities that demands boldness, creativity, and above all, the courage to face the unknown. The function of imagination is not to transport us to the past, but to empower us to build the future. When this function is co-opted by nostalgia, we lose our existential compass. The human condition itself, throughout history, has been driven by the ability to dream of a better future. From Enlightenment ideals to social utopias, the imagination of the future, even if imperfect, moved civilization. When this capacity is replaced by a constant longing for what already was, the very essence of progress is lost. The obsession with Stranger Things and other nostalgic works is a symptom of a widespread fear of the future. Why are dystopias so popular? Because they are a safe way to fear the future, while nostalgia is a safe way to love the past. Both prevent us from building a meaningful future. The arsenal, practical application. Define your own futures. Ask yourself, what future do I want to build for myself, for my community, for the world? And begin taking steps, however small, toward it. Read science fiction, old and new. Science fiction at its core forces us to confront the future, whether utopian or dystopian. It reactivates the imagination for what is to come. We began this journey questioning the refuge of nostalgia. We walked through the laws of affective filtering, the seduction of innocence, and the comfort of predictability, understanding how the past is rewritten to soothe us. And then we dove into the most dangerous tactics, the dilution of the present, the stagnation of innovation, and finally the loss of the real future. Stranger Things is not just a TV series. It is a mirror, a reflection of our own anxiety, of our search for a simpler time that never existed. It is the symptom of an era where retrotopia has become our most popular destination. This knowledge is the key to your freedom. It reveals the subtle tyranny that nostalgia exerts over your mind. This is not about denying memories. It is about distinguishing them from reality. It is not weakness to love the past. It is imprisonment to live in it. True power lies in the ability to face the present with courage and to imagine the future with audacity. Refuse to be a mere spectator of your own story. The future is unwritten. You have the power to write it. Which law of nostalgia resonated most with you? The one that made you question your own escapes? Share it in the comments. If this deep analysis helped you better understand the invisible forces shaping our culture and your mind, subscribe to the channel to continue unraveling the secrets of human existence. And if you believe this message is crucial to awaken others, your like is the signal that this knowledge has value.